One stock I'm looking forward to is Skills, ticker symbol SKLZ. Now, what Skills is, it's a gaming platform. In the platform, you can go play some simple games like solitaire, and you can actually earn real money by playing the games. I've traded this stock multiple times. The resistance is at like 21, and the support is at around 13 to 14. First time around, I bought it around 16, and I averaged myself down at the support at 13. Once it came to the support, it launched all the way back up to the resistance at 21, and then it went down again, and I rebought it. It went back down to the support, and I bought it, and it went all the way back up to the resistance. And it also mildly broke the resistance, but I did not hold that breakout, and it went down a little bit. And I'm pretty sure there was a small bull market going on, and so it didn't go down all the way to the support. And it did go back to the resistance level. So I've traded this multiple times before, had about 40 to 50% gains, just playing the support and the resistance. What it's doing now is it's going all the way back down to the support, and I'm already loaded heavy on this, just waiting for it to come back to the resistance at 21. Just waiting for that to happen. I'm not going to be buying anymore. I'm pretty heavy on this right now. So I think it could definitely go back to the resistance around 21, and that's just what I'm waiting for. So I think this is a pretty solid stock to look out for. And that this is one I'm trading this week. This is a swing trade. I'm not holding it long. I might though, but this currently for me just a swing trade back up to the resistance from the support. So overall, I think this is a good stock to look forward to.
The stock that I'm looking into recently or this week and even next week is a company called Abcelera. It's the ticker symbol is ABCL. I strongly believe that the next decade will be a decade for biotech with all the edge cutting technologies such as CRISPR and genome sequencing. But I also am very focused and invested in companies that are combining drug discovery and artificial intelligence. Abcelera is designing and discovering antibodies using AI. If you think about it, it usually takes a very long time, sometimes 10 years for one drug to be discovered and get FDA approval. And not only does it take long, it costs billions of dollars to get a single drug in the market. One stage where it takes a long time and costs a lot of money is the discovering of the drug. So this process has been done manually by scientists through thousands and thousands of experiments, but now we have artificial intelligence that can make this process much more faster and cheaper. And this is where AbCellera plays a major role, using artificial intelligence to design and discover antibodies much faster and cheaper. The company uses artificial intelligence to discover antibodies for their partner pharmaceutical companies. And then these partnered companies would then take that drug into phase 1, 2, 3 trials for the FDA approval. The reason why most biotech stocks are vulnerable is mostly due to the success or failure of a clinical trial. So in some cases, the stock may even plummet more than 50% due to a single news on the failure of a trial. However, AbCellera is not involved in any clinical trials. They just discover the antibody or the drug and hand it over to its partners, receiving a fee, which in my opinion makes AbCellera much less riskier regarding the stock prices. The way that AbCellera makes money is that they receive a fee as they discover the antibody and hand it to their partner pharmaceutical companies, but also receives royalties as the drug gets FDA approved and starts selling in the market, which I think is very smart and is an amazing stream of revenue for AbCellera in the upcoming years, since they already have over 25 partners, including big names, big pharmaceutical companies such as Eli Lilly, Novartis, Pfizer, and GSK, etc. It may take some time since the antibody or drug needs to go through the clinical trials, but once the drug that AbCellera has discovered starts getting FDA approval and starts selling in the market, I see this company as a compounding machine. So recently they discovered a drug called bamlanivimab that's treating the confirmed COVID-19 patients, which reduced the hospitalization by approximately 70%, targeting the virus spike protein that neutralizes the virus before it enters the host. So bamlanivimab was developed from an antibody that was discovered from the blood of a recovered COVID-19 patient within 1 week of receiving the samples. So AbCellera screened over 5 million antibody preceding cells to identify and isolate approximately 500 unique antibodies that bind to COVID-19. Now, the binding and antibodies were then tested to find those most effective in neutralizing the virus, which was bamlanivimab. They also discovered a new antibody neutralizing the COVID-19 variant that's actually entered the clinical trials. Both Bill Gates and Peter Thiel are investors of this company. And if you briefly look at their financials, their total revenue was 4.6 billion in 2020 Q1, whereas it was 202 billion in the first quarter of this year. That's like 50x. And if you look into more detail, out of that 202 billion, 171 billion came from the royalty of this drug for COVID-19. If you look at the net earning during that same period, comparing Q1 2020 with Q1 2021, was negative 2 billion in Q1 2020, but was positive 117 billion in 2021. So again, as I mentioned, I think it may take some time for the drugs discovered by AbCellera to get FDA approval, but once they do, it will be a cash compounding machine because they will be paid the royalty. And more exciting to me is that I'm sure that they will have more partnerships as time goes by. So I have personally bought a lot of AbCellera stocks this week and also last week since it came down to $16 to $17 from its high, which was around $60 when it IPO'd. For me, I'm not planning to sell a single stock, but I would happily add more whenever there is a dip or even if there's a crash.
Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about Lockheed Martin, symbols LMT. Current price is $377 and some change as of the time of the filming of this video. Lockheed Martin is headquartered in Maryland. It's a global security and aerospace company that employs approximately 114,000 people worldwide. It's principally engaged in the research, design, development, manufacture, integration, and sustainment of advanced technological systems, products, and services. Operates in 4 segments as a company: aeronautics, missile and fire control, rotary and mission systems, which includes a cybersecurity section, and space. Just recently, this week, Lockheed Martin opened a manufacturing facility in Florida to support NASA's future space exploration. So they're right into space right now. They just acquired Aerojet Rocketdyne down in Sacramento, which will give them some propulsion issues or capability for their space division. In 2020, their revenue was 65.3 billion with a PE ratio of 5.1. Earnings per share $24.30 per share. Seeking Alpha estimates for 2021 shows an estimate of 68.3 billion in 2021, 70.9 billion in 2022, and 73.3 billion in 2023. So it's just a company that just methodically grows each and every year, with earning per share going from $24.30 this year to estimated almost $30 in 2023. Revisions as far as analysts go, there were 19 up and 0 down. Dividend yield 2.74%. Annual payout is $10.40 a share. Market cap's $106 billion. Shares outstanding 277.9 million shares. 76% institutional ownership on Lockheed Martin. And again, when you talk about expansion, they acquired Aerojet Rocketdyne for $4.4 billion, and they're expanding down in NASA in their space operations. So this is right from their 10K. You can see the total net sales from 2018 to 2020 is rising: 53 billion, 59 billion, 65 billion. So total net sales are up. Operating profits are 7.3 billion, 8.5 billion, 8.6 billion. Slow and steady operating profits going up. Net earnings the same: 5 billion, 6.2 billion, 6.8 billion in net earnings. All things I like to see. And then of course earnings per share from $17.59 in 2018 to this year $24.30. So a really consolidated statement of earnings. So you look at the balance sheet and you can see, one thing I always like is total current assets higher than total current liabilities. That tells us that they can pay their short-term debts. Total outstanding shares are being reduced. So you can see 280 million shares in 2019, and in 2020 279 million shares. So if you look over history, they've been reducing their total amount of shares. They've been buying them back at about 1 million shares a year. Again, retained earnings increased. You can see from 18.4 billion to 21.6, which is also a good sign for Lockheed Martin. You can see cash flow from operations is rising from 2018 to 2020. You can see the repurchase of common stocks each and every year for the last 3. You can see they're paying dividends, which is a plus, each and every year, and growing dividends for last year. You can see their cash and cash equivalents is rising. All things that I like in a company, all things that are positive for me. This is why I own Lockheed Martin. I'll continue to purchase strategically. If you're a technical analysis, you can see the prices at $377. It's a little below the 50-week moving average right now, which is $384.38, but it's above the 200 SMA, which is $366.24. The RSI is about 44.6. So there's some opportunities. I would watch it. It doesn't go into the 200-week moving average, but if it pops back over the 50, it might be a good time to get in.